So nice to see you.
You too. I'm in my kitchen and I have to make lunch at the same time because I'm starving.
I have not eaten either. How funny. I have a snack back here.
Good, good. No, yeah, I'm
Okay.
trying this whole intermittent fasting thing, so I haven't eaten since dinner. So, yeah.
Okay. How are you
Um,
liking it?
it's good. It's not bothering me as much as I expected. So, yeah, it's been
I
good.
I love doing intermittent fasting.
This
Um,
is the first time I've ever tried to skip breakfast and it's not bothering me. So that's been good.
okay. Are
Yeah.
you in a program or just kind of doing it solo?
Uh, Sort of solo, but I've been doing keto for about a year.
Okay.
Um, but now I'm trying to figure out how food affects me. I've got a um
Mm,
a blood meter and I can check how my glucose and ketones are.
okay. All
And
right. Well,
intermittent fasting seems to be quite important. So
ah, there's a lot of research that suggests that we weren't supposed to eat all day, all the things.
exactly. Exactly. And one of the things I'm pretty sure I'm insulin resistant. So and lots of family stuff. I mean, my mom's Alzheimer's. I have, what's it called? Can't remember. Sore thumbs. Um, and
Is it like fibromyalgia,
no,
rheumatoid arthritis,
it's
arthritis?
arthritis. It's not rheumatoid, it's
Okay.
osteoarthritis. So I'm trying to keep anti-inflammatory diet and I hope it helps.
Are
So
you pretty,
basically going
no sugar. Are you pretty, do you have a cheating personality or are you kind of the person like when I make a decision, I make the decision and it's good? Or do you cheat?
both. It depends on where I'm at. I'm pretty good once I've made a decision. If I
Okay.
and it's yeah,
Okay.
but it depends how mentally strong I'm feeling.
Okay. So how do you want to make this work? Do you just want to tell me about all the things while you're cooking or how do you, I don't,
Well, is Kristen going to join us?
I don't know. Let me see. I don't know. Maybe I could call her. I know that she saw the post. I could text her also. We did Tinker Garden together before parenting stuff. So,
Okay.
have you ever done Tinker Garden? Have you heard of
No,
that?
no.
They're all over the world. It's a little nature-based play situation where parents stay with the kiddos, they do an activity, and then they go home. It's really sweet. It's really, really cute. Um, I will text her real quick and go ahead and start your lunch or whatever.
Yeah, no, I will. Oh, even if I just have a snack, I'm good.
Oh, I see that she sees it. We'll see.
Okay. I saw your message about what you wanted to chat about. We
Okay.
haven't had any of that yet, but I really appreciate it when you've exposed me to these things and give me an inkling of how I should respond. Um, Recently I had an episode with Kit. He was at a swim meet and he was with a friend and his brother, and he had asked me repeatedly for a hot chocolate, and I had said no. I had brought snacks and I should have just said yes in the first place. But what bugs me, because it's a treat and I get that, but what bugs me is when he asks for it as if he expects it to happen.
Okay.
And I don't like that. So I guess that's a trigger. But so I had said no a number of times. And then towards the end of the swim meet, I discovered them, the three little boys hanging around the concession stand, and then my Kit looking a bit sheepish, and he had he had stolen some marshmallows from the concession stand and was running away with them in his hand. And yeah, I didn't know what to do. I was quite strong. I did insist that he return them, and I, so yeah, it was a bit of a mixed response, because then he was ashamed, but
Mm.
more so that he'd been caught, I think.
Mm.
Um, and he put the marshmallow back on the table, but there was no going up to the person and apologizing for taking it or anything of that. And I didn't insist on it. So I kind of feel like I've messed that one up. But I did chat to him later, and he understands what he did was not okay. But I don't think I've eradicated the sneakiness,
Yeah.
because that's come up a few times in the last, I'd say,
Mm.
3 or 4 months, visiting his cousins earlier in the year, and they would sneak stuff into the bedroom.
Mm. Yeah.
I don't know, sweets and chocolates and pop, and I hadn't okayed either of them, and we'd
Mm.
probably said no when they had asked, and then they continued to do it. And so I feel like it's just a continuation of that, but now it's on a bigger scale. It's not in
Yeah.
our home, it's
Yeah.
now outside. And I doubt he would do anything more, but I don't know.
Yeah. Hi Kristen, it's so nice to see you. Uh, Robin was just saying she appreciated the post that I shared in the group because it has given her, oh my gosh, this is probably going to happen sometime in the future. And how do I, whether my children just see it, how do I respond? Or maybe my kids do it, and how do I respond? And you yourself have been, uh, what's the word? Privy, exposed. Maybe that's
Yeah.
not the word I want to use right now. um, Miss Mallory has given you quite an experience and equipped you more, right? Invited you to become more equipped with the sneaking and the stealing and those types of things. Um, something that I have been experiencing, and this will relate to both of those, is my lovely mother-in-law. And I feel safe sharing that here. As she has shared with me some of her um interactions with Evie, it has become very clear how unclear she is sometimes. For example, there was a huge, not a huge blow up between her and Evie. She had and I'm not sure if I already shared this with you, but she had told Evie, "Hey, if you'll vacuum, I'll go take care of my laundry." Evie had went down there for a stay, and she said, "If you'll vacuum, I'm gonna go put the laundry from the washer into the dryer." Well, not very clear. Evie definitely didn't take that as, hey, this is something I should do. So she did not do the thing. And it did cause a lot of, hiccups. And, you know, what I have found with foster kiddos and other kiddos is just being very, very clear. And we can take that accountability piece, when we see that sneaking, or when, Kit asks for the 10th time, hey, I want hot chocolate. And we've already said no 10 times. Maybe the second
Mhm.
time, or even the 11th time, we can look at them and we can say, I hear you saying you want chocolate. I get it. It's delicious. Hear my words. No. Do you understand? No. Please do not ask again. No. What do you think will happen? And this is one of my favorite things, is what do you think will happen if you ask again? And really invite them into that conversation of, maybe we won't come here again, maybe we'll leave right away. And that can really let them know that, hey, mom's on point with this. She's very present in this with me. And that may reduce the tendency to, well, she told me no 10 times. Even though that's fairly clear, it still, with the marshmallows and stuff, had maybe you said, "Do you understand? No. And what will happen if you ask again?" He may not have taken marshmallows because you're meeting him in that place of, let's think about 2 steps ahead of here.
I agree. And I do think it was also possibly him asking me, but I was chatting to a friend at the
Ah,
time. It was all it
Mm,
couldn't, it wasn't as conclusive as I wanted to be.
mhm.
Also, I didn't realize it would have such
Yeah.
ramifications. Like he'd go and help himself if I had said no, or if I didn't. Yeah. Um, he's got really bad. Yesterday we were in the shops, and we're seldom in the shops together, but we walked through the food court to get to the shop we wanted to return some shoes, and it was boiling hot, and I decided that I could spoil them to have something to drink. But again, it's giving a finger and taking the arm, because then they wanted the most expensive thing they could see, and they wanted food, and I don't know how to tone that down without again, I think it's a trigger. So I've
Mhm.
got to learn to
Yeah.
not overreact in those situations. Um,
You know, it's also it's a two things are true type of situation. I don't know about you two ladies, but I was never allowed to ask for things that I wanted, right? It was very much don't ask for suckers at the bank. Who are you to ask for suckers at the bank? That was like the rudest thing ever to ask for suckers at the bank. And to this day, I've had to do a lot of work on myself to ask for things that I want. And that stems from that being, a non-desirable trait to ask for things that you want. So we want to dance with our kiddos around asking for things that they want and also holding our boundaries. And I think what has been helpful for me is just saying that. You basically, I want you to feel confident in asking for things that you want, and we're not getting all the things that you want. So how do we want to do this together? And I get irritated when I say no, that you keep asking and asking and asking. It makes me not want to bring you here. So what are your ideas for this?
mm,
Do you, and this is something I have I have directly said, do you want me to tell you don't ask for things? Or can we agree that you ask once? I say, nope, not today, and you stop for that time in the store or that time in the day. Can we agree to that?
yeah, I like that.
How does that Kristen's hands are busy too. You can give a thumbs up if you like that or if you've tried that.
Yeah, I like that a lot. It's because yeah, like you said, it's not going away. It's everything. It's food, it's toys, it's I mean, what
Mhm.
they want that day. I mean, it's there's wants everywhere. You're not gonna get away from it. So yeah.
And I think too, saying, "Oh, I hear that you want that. Hear my answer. No. What's your plan now?" And get them thinking in the next step so they're not left stuck.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's been super helpful.
People saying yes and then like when do we do that or when can we do that?
Yeah.
You know, but they don't. Because the no always triggers my kids.
Yeah. And we
So
want
to a yes, but then getting them, their feedback. Okay, when do we go to the pool or
Mhm.
what time open or I don't know, whatever it is.
Yeah. Exactly.
But yes, I frustrated all the time because any task seems like 10 times harder, like running in to get two things at the store or, because they're going to see everything along the way instead of me getting frustrated. I don't want to build that into them. Like, I can never, having wanting things is bad. Like, I don't want to teach that,
Yeah. It's a
not.
tricky So it's figure outable, right? And bring this to the kids. Like, hey, how do we dance around this? Do we just, on Fridays you can ask, and I'm gonna, here's a $10 budget or a $5 budget, and you can have one thing. And make sure you put your parameters. We're gonna spend 30 minutes in the store. You can pick one thing in $10. If you haven't chosen the one thing, we're still leaving at 30 minutes.
Yes. Yeah. It's just having those boundaries, I think, set up ahead of time for me.
Yep.
Then I'm better at following through on it.
Yeah. It's I guess I'll just that seatbelt reminder, when I get to how's that working? Is that cue working for you? For you ladies? No.
I tried. I feel like it's another one of those that I tried. It's like your timer. I tried and I got it wrong, or I implemented it badly in the first place, and then it just
Okay.
lost it.
So we can build on that still by awareness. So the minute you become aware, like, you can say, guys, I meant to let us know when I unclicked, when we pulled in but say it so your brain can start to reverse engineer putting this pattern into place. You can say, I meant to tell you when we unbuckled, before we unbuckled, that these are the expectations. I'm so sorry that I didn't do that. I would say, should we start over or can we start now and move forward while we're in the store?
Mm.
That's
Mm.
something I would say. But I definitely encourage you to, yeah, even if you miss the boat, right? Just start there, say the thing so that your brain can start rebuilding that and it'll become a habit.
Yep, I like it. I'm going to turn my mic off if you don't mind, because I'm going to
Yep,
put the microwave
go
on.
for it. We'll just switch over to Kristen for a bit. That little guy. Oh my gosh, those blue eyes. Oh my gosh. And you look gorgeous.
He's growing up. Well, thanks. Getting a little more sleep. We started our little sleep training June 1st. So it's been, I love, like, they were sleeping through the night, which is great. But I feel like my daytime schedule, I'm not used to like being so strict with it.
Ah,
So it's been good and bad. Like, my husband loves it because all he sees is like, oh, nighttime, they're sleeping. This is great. But I'm like, it's tough, like navigating, letting, he's smashing the thing on his hand every time. Just waiting for him to learn. Ouch. Open. But yeah, like letting Mallory still have her, like we went to the park today and it's like, okay, do we leave so he can be in his crib for nap time, or she's having a blast in McKenna. So this third kid thing has been interesting as far as the naps go and making everyone happy. And he's kind of she still has him. So the sleep coach has him doing 2 naps, and then she actually took away McKenna's nap, which I'm sure about because I had Mallory napping until she was 5.
mm-hmm.
And McKenna's only 3.5. So we do like quiet time. But I think the sleep pressure has kind of helped her sleep through the night, I guess. So I miss my days when both the little two were napping together at the same time, But there's a stage for everything. So yeah, no, things have been pretty good. We go on a trip again next week, so we'll see how it's been easy being at home, right? But then when you have to implement things traveling, I feel like that's gonna be a whole nother game. But yeah, they've been doing pretty good. Nothing specific comes to mind. Still working on Mallory's lashes and her brows growing back, but I think I sent, where's that? The Beyond Behaviors thing. I haven't taken, it takes me like 4 months to read one book. It's kind of but I'm trying to appreciate whatever the picking fulfills for her, right? It's serving a purpose for her. I haven't identified that yet, but instead of being triggered by it, I'm trying to just love her through it. So yesterday was super sweet. One of my clients, she just has the one granddaughter, so she has tons of clothes, like ridiculous amount. So I just trade her my hair services for some hand-me-down clothes. So she's trying on all the new summer clothes and like loves them, but she's like goes to the mirror. Oh yeah, I like this one. She goes to another one. And then one of them, she's like, I'm still cute even without eyelashes. And I was like, oh, like, so there was a lot more going on internally than I realized. So it's sweet to see that, yeah, she was still loving herself. And yeah, so hopefully just trying to focus more on connection, and everything else will fall into place, kind of like we always talk about here.
Okay. That book is definitely on my list to read too. Yes. And have you noticed, well, first of all, I'm glad that the sleeping is is falling into place. And you're kind of like me. I'm very flowy and fluid and, rigid lines. I am like a boundary pusher by nature, and rigid lines are not my friend. And so it would be very hard to be like, oh, great, we're all having fun, but apparently nap time is in 10 minutes, therefore we are leaving now. Like that would be hard.
Yeah.
But
So that's how I was with Kit,
Uh-huh.
because I could do with one child. I then moved overseas, had a second child, was looking after both at the same time, and sleep training went out the window. And then the pandemic hit, and I could
Wow.
stay at home and go according to Sebi's schedule. So we then I moved around him, but it was only because we couldn't go anywhere with
Yeah.
Kit. So good luck with 3. I honestly feel like sleep training is the benefit. Don't get me wrong, it's a benefit of one child or people with nannies. Like they have
Thank you. Explaining
So
to my night. That's so funny. Because I was like well, it's 2 nights ago. I was still in tears. He's like, "What's wrong? Like, you're doing great. Everything's, they're doing good." I'm like, "But I'm social. I need to get out, and I'm not." Like, and it's summertime, and
so the benefit is that then it's the routine more than anything. But
yes,
you've got to go, you got to decide, I'm going to do the routine. So then, I don't know, the nap from whatever, 1 or 1 nap is much easier. Then you just have mornings and afternoons and you have that nap. And it's not forever. They do eventually grow up. Unless
right.
you're planning to have 12 kids. So,
That,
you
no thanks.
know. I don't.
oh,
Anyway, that's my 2 cents worth on that. I've done both. I've done the strict nap schedule with Kit, who probably didn't need it because he's not that kind of a kid. And then Sebi, who would have benefited from that. I couldn't. I was entertaining Kit at the same time. And Sebi slept on me most of the time. And yeah.
And that's what he used to do. Like, that was my thing. Like, wherever he was, like, you better, get a nap in when you can, kid, because we're on got things to do. But now that it was amazing how quickly, I had no clue he could sleep through the night, 12 hours. Like, that was very awesome. She had me, cold turkey stop nursing him at night, and I was a little hesitant, but very impressed with that. But now he like doesn't even want to fall asleep on me, or like, I'm like, wait, what happened to my baby? Terrible. So I don't know. There's definitely the good and the bad, but we're doing our
Onwards and upwards.
thought maybe like 2 or 3 more weeks of the 2 nap thing, and then we could kind of wean him off of that and get to the 1. But yeah, she has him nap, then McKenna's quiet time, and then he naps. So I'm like, our whole day's shot, like.
Are you, this is, both of you are, we have our need, and me too. We have our needs that we can forget about at the convenience, because it's convenient to forget about us. And we always put ourselves on the last burner because we have a million things to do, but it catches up to us. It really, really does. And then we're not our best selves because we feel used, unappreciated, resentful, and other words come into mind. So the
Can
question
your
is,
sleep coach not take that into consideration? Is she open to like the 2 naps at the same time? Oh, she's taken not McKenna. Yes.
Yeah.
McKenna.
Away. I mean, does she understand that that's your downtime?
I guess she's trying to teach, like, so we do quiet time.
Hmm.
Talked about with Megan too. Like, Mallory will do that. So it's just, but puzzles or something they can do in their room quietly. The last week, so we've just been doing McKenna. So that's what she did. She did 1 kid at a time, which makes sense to me now. I think I was getting overwhelmed trying to find a sweet spot for everyone all at the same time, which was impossible. So Blake did about 2 weeks, and then he was good. So this last week was McKenna, and I would say I think she napped like 4 of the 7 days during quiet time. She'd fall asleep, like but she said that'll take a week or so, but then she'd wake up at night. But when she doesn't nap, she does sleep all through the night for 12 hours. So that was like, I get the benefit, but like you're saying, sometimes it's daytime for me would be, even if it's just going to pay bills and or reading my book that I get 2 pages done, you know. So yeah, we're figuring it out. And then school will start, and then you're on to another. It's motherhood, right? Like there's always a transition and the next stage, just when you get one thing down.
Um, I know Robin likes to swim. That's one of the things that she does for her exercise. And then she's got, cognitive stimulation, her work, which helps her be her best self, which is also hard to schedule in. Are you able to, is that your hair time? Is that does that count as social time, or are you interrupted by kids, or?
It counts, but I think like the thing that's the least is probably the me time, like just quiet me time.
Okay.
So if they all go to bed, that was the idea, get the whole sleep schedule so I can have that at nighttime. After they go to bed, but before I go to bed. But then, yeah, I think it's just I've gotten out of the habit of doing it, so I'll fill that time with
Sure.
reset or dishwasher and the laundry and the. What do you need, Bella?
Well, if this scheduling is part of the new rhythm, this very strict schedule, is Ryan able to come in and take over for a section of time so that, and can it be scheduled? Like, I have the kids on the strict schedule. I can't go do these things that fill me up, and I need a schedule. This.
Yeah. I mean, I started yoga again, so I would go there once a week, so that's something.
Okay.
But no, I'm just not used to being so strict. So I'm learning to.
Yeah.
But you're right. Maybe if I put it on the calendar, it'll make it happen.
I'll just share again, not that it needs to be shared, but sometimes our guys forget what it's like being home all day with kids, and once a week perspective can be really good for them and good for us to get out, because we start to not appreciate what we forget, right? That awareness. And it's almost like not their fault if they just don't know what it is that we're going through day in, day out, then they just can't appreciate our efforts.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's a good reminder.
Yeah. When my husband starts getting just short with me or Evie or whatever, I'm like, you need to take care of this. You need to go pick her up from school today because I can't. I have a meeting,
Yeah.
And by the way, also groceries thank you very much, and then he's like, oh yeah, you do so much, and it's not easy. So, anyways, it doesn't rub me the right way to have kids on a strict schedule, but if that's what needs to happen for sleep, that's okay. If that's the thing that we need to do for more sanity and less chaos, it is totally okay. And since you're and he has said, I really like this schedule thing. You could be like, great, here's my hour, and here's your hour with them, and my hour away. So, anyways.
Yeah.
Not that y'all need permission to do that, but as a reminder.
Thank you. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The other benefit to your sanity is sleeping through the night.
Yes. Oh my God.
My body's still like trying to. I don't think it really remembers how, to be honest.
I know exactly what you mean.
It's been 6 years. Like I really am like, did I hear something? Like even the other night, I'm like, because I have him on a monitor, but yeah, I'm like, I've become a light sleeper, and I never used to be like that before kids, but
yeah,
but getting a little better week by week. We're just 3 weeks into it, so I don't know. Cool. Did you ever naps, Robin?
Did I ever?
Me. Did you up from naps?
No. Yes. Kit slept terribly. His problem, he slept through the night from 4 months old, which was amazing, but he did not sleep more than 7 minutes during the day,
Yeah.
So so the days I was finished, and people didn't appreciate that I was exhausted because I slept through the night, and they just didn't understand. And I felt terrible saying it out loud because he was sleeping at night. Then I had Sebi, who didn't sleep through the night for much longer than that. And but he napped well. So, but with Sebi, I certainly didn't. I knew I was supposed to wake him. Put it this way, that whole sleep pressure thing, it works. So like now we don't let Sebi nap at all if we can help it, because if we do, he'll be up till 9, 10 at night, causing chaos. Whereas if we let him nap, or if we don't let him nap, he'll be out by 7, 7:30. So yeah.
It's just natural to me to wake them up from naps. So I'm trying. If we don't stay on schedule, then it throws everything else off. So I get the idea of it.
You just have it on steroids. You have 3 children.
Yeah. So
Yeah. And I hope it sounds like it's working and you're getting more sleep, even though you've got to completely retrain your body to just relax a little. But I'm excited for you.
yeah. So
For sure.
headed in a new direction for sure.
Yeah. Okay. And there's been no behavior stuff with the girls or with the boy?
No. What? I don't know. Well, the book talks, and I think you've talked about that too. I was just having playtime with McKenna, so like the one-on-one time, she loves that. And she's the younger daughter, but she always plays big sister when we play, and little sister. And she's really bossy. And then today she's like, I know we can play phones, and I'm like, okay. And so we each have a phone, I guess was the idea. Or no, she had the phone, and she's like, pretend you want my phone and I'm sleeping and you steal it. And so she doesn't steal a lot in real life, but it's funny how much she has caught on to being kind of sneaky from Mallory, but she just does it in her play. But the book said, like, typically I would stop that and be like, oh no, we should do this, like correct it. But do you agree with, so this book was actually saying like, let them play it out, because that's actually them kind of processing it?
I do agree with that. Yes. I would just circle back later.
Okay.
And either, and I would just circle, whenever it's a calm time. And, I loved our, saying something like, I loved our play. Is that something we do in real life when we're at the store or anything? Or is that just during pretend time with me?
Okay.
Yeah, totally let her experiment that, but then take it one step further. What do you think would happen if you did that at the store? And
True.
you would have to go talk to the manager and bring it back. I don't know
Yeah.
what would happen. What do you think pretend you're the manager? What would you say if a kid stole from you, and just,
Okay. Mom, I want to play. Okay, when I'm done with my call, remember? Or you can play in your room.
did you guys see the response that I wrote in regards to that post, the vandalism post?
No, I haven't. I saw the pictures, but I haven't seen your comments. It's on your Facebook page?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
I guess, and I guess what I want to, what I thought about sharing with you is, the mom who posted, this is here in my town, like someone just went to the park and saw it, and they're like, and her response was, I hope I raise my kids well enough to not think this is okay. I think that's what she said. And that's totally, we all hope that, for sure. I love when these things are not when they occur, but when it's an opportunity to talk about things. And I'll share my response. I'll share it in the comments. It's a pretty long response, but what are we hoping let's say our child is with a group of kids that are doing this. Like, I don't think my kid would do it necessarily, but what if she was in a group with the kids who aren't, not okay with doing this, who are doing this. Now, we can get into the why of why they are engaging in this, but that's a whole separate ABC. If we talk about our kiddo, And how do we equip them to, if they're in a group that is doing this, how do we equip them to say what they need to say? And what does that look like? And that has to come from practice with us first. So my hope would be that my kid would be like, hey, what are you do? Like, we can't do that to this park. What are you doing? Why would we came here to, spin on the merry-go-round? What are you doing? And then if they continue doing, what's the next thing that they would do? And having this conversation with them. And I will have this conversation with my kiddo. And I can be, and she's not there yet. She's still only 11. She's not going to be out with friends, but we had our first sleepover here for her birthday, our very first one. Like, she's had one, like, I should say slumber party. We had camping and tents outside. It was super fun. And I went into the bathroom and there's like spit. They used chocolate toothpaste, which my friend makes anyways. There's like spit everywhere. And I'm like, Phoebe, what? She's like, I didn't do it. I was like, but you're the host. You're the kid that lives here. It's up to you to say, hey guys, we got to clean this up. And she's like, that would embarrass me. I can't say that. I was like, oh, wow, we're still here. Okay. It was a really good wake up call for me because we expect so much. And and we're still talking about it. What can you say? Where does that come from in you? And, to bring in lightness, because whenever we bring in playfulness, it helps people stay open-hearted and open-brained. But anyways, I guess I just share that to say, I will be sharing this post with her and asking her that what if you were a group, or how does this make you feel? What if you were with a group of kiddos that were doing this? What would you do? What would you hope that you would do? And if you can't, that's okay. If you just silently do nothing, that's okay too, and just letting her know that all the decisions, all the choices are available. Maybe you partake. Then what? Just having this beautiful dialogue and dance with her. And that's connection at its core, that conversation. And that, I guess that brings me back to that book I almost threw away when I had my preschoolers about the rude frog. Did I tell you about that?
Yeah, I think you mentioned it.
Okay. I was a book, Robin said no. So when I had my preschool, someone donated a whole bunch of books. And there was this book about this little frog. And his family took him to the restaurant, and I was appalled at how rude he was. And I threw the book away. I was like, what is this trash?
I am remembering this. Okay.
And I got it back out and I was like, oh, this is gold. Because those moments of what not to do and having the children share with us, that's so much better than us telling them you shouldn't, you should say please and all the things. So anyways.
It makes me think of, and it might be helpful. So we're going on a trip again. We'll see the cousin. I guess I have high expectations for family to be kind to each other, but I mean, they're still peers, right? And so this last time we went, the end of Memorial Day, and they range from the younger crowd from 11 to McKenna was 3. So that's a big age range in there, but there's probably 12, 15 of them, right? And so when they're playing, we don't go back, we're not home as often as they are, so they get together more often. So I feel like Mallory is just naturally more of a easy target, is kind of how my husband puts it.
Mm-hmm.
And so and she's different or whatever in general. So this last time I kind of found her down, we were at the lake house, everybody was playing. I did hair this time, but I got my appointment scheduled.
Okay.
And then so I see her on top of the bunk bed, and I'm like, hey, everything okay? And she's like kind of quiet, and she's like, yeah. And then I was like, I feel like I need to shut the door. I was like, are you sure? And then she's like, yeah, sometimes I just super dramatic but very sweet at the same time. She's like, sometimes I just wonder if I'm the poorest girl in the world. Okay. Because we've never really talked about money, and I've never heard, so I was like, is she using this word right? So anyway, my next question was, why do you think that? To see what the heck she meant by it. And so then she's like, well, they just keep teasing me and they always run away from me. And I don't have eyelashes, so maybe I'm not very cool. And I was like, oh wow, like it was deep. And so then it's hard as a mom because I'm like, from a kid's point of view, if I go like, talk to the group of them, and then they're like, ugh, you told your mom, right? Like you put Mallory in a tough spot, I feel like, when you stick up for your child, because I remember that as a kid. Like then the kids just hate the mom and they hate you now because you told your mom. And, like, but then like you're saying, she doesn't either want to stand up for herself or know how to, and half of them are quite a few years older than her. And then I guess in the hot tub later, so I'm out doing a haircut, and I knew they were kind of being turds before, but then it just kind of ended like, well, I'll just play here. And she had her toys. Like she's totally content playing by herself, which is good and bad. Anyway, as I'm doing the haircut, and she's not, I don't know, how do I explain it? She tries to be like the class clown a lot. I think that's because they're just people, right? Or like they don't know how else to act. So and then they laugh because she is different. So then she thinks they're laughing with her, not at her, right? And so there's a couple things, but I didn't intervene. And then my sister had told me, like, my sister-in-law was like, yeah, I was wondering if we should have split up them. Just, it's too big of an age range for them to all be hanging out with each other. Because then, yeah, they're just like, I guess it was a game like, use one word to describe me. And then, they'd all go around, and then like, they're like annoying, stupid, whatever. And I'm like, oh, I did not hear that, because I think my heart would have just broken. But like, she just takes this crap. And I'm like, so I guess later at the graduation party, this is, like the next day or something. Yeah. Oh, it's getting so loose. Mallory has a loose tooth. Okay. If you want to pull it, you can, or you can wait. I'm almost done with my call and I can help you, okay? Who's that? This is Megan and Robin. I have like 15, 20 minutes left, and then I can come help you, or you're welcome to pull it yourself if you want. Okay. So they're playing baseball.
Is my slime bucket in here?
You can use a Ziploc if you want. Just something to keep it moist. Yeah, good idea. So they're playing baseball, and then and my sister knew that all this stuff was going on, so I think she would kind of like was like, I've had enough, like I'm gonna say something. And it wasn't just Mallory, but like the other cousin that's Mallory's age, they're both 6. They weren't letting them bat, or I forget, they were again picking on them. Because I mean, again, like what you said, kids always want the power, right? And so typically the older kids have the power and the control, or they make it think like they do. And so then, yeah, I guess Grace kind of, and she doesn't have any kids, so I think it was good coming from her, because the kids can't, be like, ugh, so-and-so's, had it come from me, I think it would have been different. So I was glad she said it, if that makes sense. So now going into this trip, because I know I've kind of known the dynamic and that happens sometimes, but you're actually kind of saying, like with the whole graffiti thing, like instead of me ignoring it, that's not healthy, but talk about like, hey, when they tease you, what do you do? Or when you see that, because then I notice it when the 6-year-olds are playing with the younger crowd, like say the older kids are not there. Well, now the 6-year-olds treat the 3-4-year-olds like that, Yeah. Because they think that's what you do, or is that just natural and I need to let her learn?
It's a little bit of all of it. The interesting thing is we got to think where their models are, and are they getting enough modeling, the 11-year-old and those older kids, of what it looks like to be kind and inviting to smaller kids? Because when they know what that looks like, they get a ton of power from that, equally as much really as being turds, as you said, you know what I mean? So do they have those models of,
I mean, I could bring that up, like just even to my siblings, like maybe Because I think the adults do, we enjoy our card games, or we'll go play our board games while they play their games. But then we're not modeling anything really until you get to this,
Mhm.
join the adult table. Or, I mean, it's not like that. The kids play some cards with us, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So
Make special effort to be like, hey, to the 12. I feel like it's that tough age of just the
Yep.
older elementary aged
yeah.
kids.
And it is, it is part of just developing a thicker skin, and
Yeah.
we've
Doesn't
all
all
got to
need,
kind of go through that, and
yeah.
it's a beautiful conversation. How did that feel when that's done to you? Have you ever done that to someone else? And you're still good inside no matter what has happened. um I think an element to make sure that you add, Kristen, is whenever you see her alone on the bed and you go to her, maybe you did this, is just saying, how can I support you? And because if she's coping by just, it's fine, that's fine, I'm just going to stay here. That's actually a really great coping mechanism. But
Okay.
the only thing she needs is to know that you have her back, and that
Yeah.
you're letting kind of her take the lead. And you just got to watch where your discomfort comes into play over
It was
hers. Yeah. And yeah, I'd be very triggered if I heard someone, if you're playing that game, and someone called my kid annoying or whatever. That would be that's just very, very hurtful. Um,
And so my other siblings have observed this from those kids. So I don't know if I bring it up to those kids' parents, or like it wasn't just a one-time thing. I think because, like I said, we don't visit as much, so it just like, oh, she's the new girl, let's pick on
yep.
her. But Jill's like, no, it happens to Addie when Mallory's not here. Like, it's not just because of Mallory. I'm like, okay, I guess that's good and bad, but
Yeah.
they're in the public school system, and they're, like you you see, I mean, they see the modeling of bullying really, and so I get, but I don't know how aware their parents are, or if I even bring it up,
I
or like my
would.
boss
I
said,
would
maybe
totally.
by the age, like it's just not, maybe some of their talking isn't appropriate for the little kids, but I don't know.
I personally would bring it up with my siblings. If you have a good relationship with them and you can have, is this a problem to be solved? Do we let it go? Do we
Yeah.
hear it and let it go? Like, come up with a plan together. Or do
Yeah.
we intervene and say, hey, are you guys being kind? Do you really want to be that person that calls someone else a hurtful name? You know, like I would, if it was my sister or brothers, I'd be like, what do we want to do about this? If we want to do nothing, okay, cool. If we want to
Yeah.
team together and address this, then how can we do it together and have each other's backs?
Right. So who do you think would be the most, um like they would receive it best, like from their own parents, from me, but then I'm the parent of the one they're picking on, or like, you know what I mean? Like I was trying to think of it as a child myself,
Mhm.
but I
Good.
receive that from,
Yeah.
or like, and with your graffiti example, like ideally Mallory would stick up for herself, right? Like she would have the skills to do so, but it seems like to me I mean, you're calling it coping, which I guess that is, but to me it's like, did she say anything? Did she stick up for herself, or is just like, okay, I'll just remove
Yeah.
my situation?
Yeah. And I think that, asking her, do you want me to help you come up with words to say back to them? Or do you feel more comfortable just being quiet and tapping out? Like, where do you need me to support you?
Yeah.
And letting her know that kids will find most of their comfort in knowing that we have their back.
Okay.
Um,
So just so she at least knows that.
yeah. And then
I
coming up,
expect families. I'm like, this shouldn't be happening, but like, I get
right.
it. There's a lot of them, and it, yeah,
Um,
dynamic.
Yeah, and I would help Mallory come up with words to say back so that she has it in her pocket in case she wants to use it. She may still feel more comfortable tapping out and just being like, whatever, I'm going to go play alone. But at
Yeah.
least you've equipped her with other options.
Yeah.
And
Like, do you explain to her that they're laughing at her? Or just do you let her figure that out herself?
I know.
It like, I don't know, I guess I didn't really address it because it kind of broke my heart, and I was, yeah, anyway. And the opportunity, I think, kind of missed it, but then the adults a few of us were talking about it later.
It's so tricky because that's going to be one of her gifts in life. She is this extrovert like you know, right? And she is this beautiful personality, and that's a high level thing to take that type of perspective of you're doing this, they're laughing at you, you might want to stop. That is really high level. I personally, I think because yeah, I would talk to my siblings, ask them what they're and help in I'm sure they do this to some degree anyways. Most parents do, like, what is love? What is kindness? Why do we do unkind things? Where is that coming from within us that we're unkind to others? Like, this
Yeah,
is just a learning opportunity for everybody.
true. Because like the older boy, he's 11. The one, I feel like he instigates a lot. And I don't know, yeah, if I call him out on it, like how he would react, because I never have, but I've noticed it for a while now. But like he'll be the one to like talk about poop or, like stuff, fart, and that gets Mallory giggling and she thinks it's funny, which is fine and innocent, totally innocent. But
Yeah.
then I gets in trouble, oh, Mallory does, or gets, I don't know. She thinks, oh yeah, I'll be funny, like everyone's laughing, but he's the one that gave her the idea.
Yep.
And so it's like, yeah, sometimes I want to call him out on it or tell the parents or kind of like you're saying, do we have this one little instance? Do we have that as the learning curve? But then that mom was sharing later that he has like anxiety and so I don't know if he's on meds or not, but she had brought up how he had told her like, I don't want to grow up to be mean or something like that. So then I'm like, I know he's having his own battles, right? Like it was, yeah, just so many different view from it. So it was like, oh boy. But like I
Yeah.
said, going here in another week, and so it's like, okay,
Yeah. Do
it's
you have a
still
connection with him? A trusting relationship with him?
not really, no.
I would maybe invite you to think about really doing something to connect with him
Okay.
so that you're developing that bond for a variety of reasons, just to authentically develop a bond with him. But if and when you need to say, hey, you know, if you need
Yeah.
to address it, and if you that way you feel comfortable and he can hear you instead of just getting defensive. But also, the conversation can really look like, hey, I noticed this is happening. Talk to me about this. You're not telling him to stop. You're not telling him, you little stinker. You're not telling just what's going on for you that's happening. You're
Yeah.
not, let him know you're not in trouble. There's just something going on in your heart and in your head that there's a friction, there's a disconnect, and I want to know more, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
I like that. Yeah. There gets to be so many of them that I feel like it is very surface level relationships.
mhm.
Go back maybe 4 or 5 times a year. Yeah, it's tough to develop something, but yeah, you're right. That would obviously, he would know me better and I could help him more and support him.
Mhm. And then it's kind of up to the adults. Actually, how can the environment be set up to help the older ones help the little ones and vice versa? You know what I mean? How can we start training how good it feels to be kind to others and to serve others? That's why I love so much the multi-age school setting because there is an agenda. Everyone's it's not ultimate free play, you know what I mean? But there really is a system of supporting on purpose, and I'm obsessed
Yeah.
with it. But that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
So we have to set up the environment in ways where we can really help kiddos feel how good it is to love each other and support each other. Because it feels good whenever little Mallory's 6,
Yeah.
little 6-year-old just is eating up everything you're dishing out, and you can get her in trouble because she can't dish it out like you can, you know? So that's a lot of, like you said, that's a lot of power.
Yes.
And we can't just stop that behavior. We have to replace it and reshape it.
Okay. Yeah. Because then, like I said, when they're with the little kids and they're the older kids, well, now what they've seen be modeled to them is, hey, we pick on the little ones and they, we get the power. And like, interesting when you see them in the different, depending what we're doing for family events, like you can see changes.
Yeah. Something that came into my mind that I would maybe think, how is your playtime divided up between McKenna and Mallory for nap time?
I mean, I tried just to have them one-on-one for like 10 minutes a day was my goal, but
Yeah. What I would maybe do, and it's different, but it's still connection, is maybe setting that timer for 5 minutes where you get to be the leader in that game, and then 5 minutes where, the girls, whatever girl you're with, gets to be the leader of that game.
together, or you're
What?
saying play with them together or separately?
However you're doing it already, just split the time where you're the leader
Gotcha.
and make sure you've got your timer if you have that. And that way you can start to think about embedding these things on purpose in play. And then make sure you're giving them power by saying, can I be the leader first? Or do you want to be the leader first? Doing the timer and then swapping. And then you can think about embedding these things in play with animals or just helping them see it from a different perspective.
Okay. Because yeah, when McKenna plays, she, like I said, she'd be the big sister, and she's just mean. Like,
Yeah, let her do that, and then
no, kind of like you're Cinderella, like you're just the trash, and you like she's just like, and you be my butler, and
I would.
Hey, there's a lot here.
And she tells you what to say, like she directs everything.
Yeah.
Maybe let her still be the big sister, and then you can say, I'm going to be the little sister, but I'm going to stand up for myself, and this is what this sounds like.
Okay, I like that.
I'm going to be helpful, not hurtful back to you, but I'm going to be helpful to us.
Okay.
And do it that way. And that's a phrase. Oh,
sorry. Her process. I didn't know how much of it was her processing the play, or like, so you letting her be the mean sister or whatever, or if when it's appropriate to not correct, but in a way like teach,
And when you see the girls, just labeling it, when you see them being unkind to each other, you can say, are you guys just pretending, or what's going on here? Are you being helpful or hurtful? That's something that phrase has been really helpful for me and my kiddos. Are you being helpful or hurtful? Do you need some words? No one's in trouble. We're just learning here.
Yes, right. Okay. I'll write that down.
Okay, we are on the minute. Was this helpful?
Oh yeah, definitely. Thank you. Sorry I took over, but your graffiti thing made me think of that. I'm like, it's kind of along those same lines of sticking up for yourself, or like, yeah.
Yeah. I guess
knowing when to get in it and when not to.
I would love to end with, what is a tool that you find yourself using most often that's you're really having success with, that you find that connection, communication, cooperation is staying intact?
Redos work for me. I've been doing lots of redos.
Okay.
So much so that Sebi at some point did say, I need a redo, which was great.
Cool. And I can imagine, I think you've shared too, like you're mostly doing them on yourself, right? Or at least partially, like, oh, I did not like how I did that. Redo for me. Is that, so you're modeling that?
I'm trying, yeah.
Okay. Cool. Awesome.
I think boundaries, like I'm finally, I think grasping the concept, like it's okay for, like they like to come cuddle with me in the morning, but I'm like, okay, my bed is for sleeping, not for play. And I used to try to find a way they could play on the bed, like try to make what they wanted done. I was a yes girl or whatever, like yes to everything. But now, yeah, I'm getting more comfortable. Like, I'm not okay with that. You can do this. Like, I guess that would be options then. I'm trying to think what the tool would be labeled, but
I think boundaries is, well, it would be a boundary when you state what you're gonna do. So, I feel playfulness coming along. Are we gonna just lay down and snuggle, or are we gonna go play in the living room? So that's still a yes, but that's still a boundary.
yeah. Okay.
So that's awesome. Okay, I didn't hear that last sentence or word.
Yeah, it just froze. Okay, there you're
Oh.
back.
Okay. All right. Maybe I was gonna try and give you one more tool, but you're already front loading expectations and limits ahead of time. I know that. Um, I think just that seatbelt, if you don't remember to lay out expectation front load when you get to the store, when you get to cousin's house, when you get to the airport, whatever, just be like, I forgot, and then just do it at that point so that they're aware, that they have awareness around that.
Okay.
Okay. Any last words?
Well, I guess from me, thank you for giving me the idea of discussing scenarios before they happen. And giving particularly Kit the words, because I don't know yet about Sebi, but Kit I think is going to be one who by himself can hold strong against quite a lot of influence, but when he's in a group, he is a follower.
And just letting him know that he doesn't have to be perfect and he's gonna mess up. Evie's driving our side by side around like she's already driving. And I'm like, baby girl, you're gonna hit something. It's gonna happen. Just let me know. You're not gonna be in trouble. We'll fix it. Just let me know and try to be careful. That's all we can do. And I know you will be. Here's the keys, you know? And so that's a really great place to be.
Yeah.
When a kiddo has that confidence in themselves and in you that they're not gonna feel more unloved or they're not gonna be punished. Because punishment doesn't lead to where we think it leads.
Right.
Evie's like, I have an announcement. I need to have a hard conversation with you. I'm like, okay. I was like, oh, anyway, it was just, she was trying to tell me that she doesn't want to do this math program that we have her in. And I wish I wish that it could be more intrinsically, but I'm like, baby girl, I'm sorry. I gotta pull the mom card on this. Can you let me do this? And she's like, yes. So it's just, that that dance and that cooperation, not power over so much, but really power with and letting them fail as often as possible, but knowing that you have their back. Actually, it's do you have like 2 more minutes?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. That's, I think, what I really want about that post is what is the job of a parent ultimately? Besides cooking and, feeding and like what is our job as in our parenting role? And this post really made me think about like if we could articulate that in 1 or 2 sentences. And for me, this reminded me that to help my kiddo have the confidence um to engage in dialogue if they're not comfortable of something that I'm doing so that I can change, so that they can be comfortable in telling someone else that they're not comfortable with that. I think for me, that's my goal. And how can I help them hold boundaries, but respectfully? They're not going to yell at me. That is not going to work. But how can they say, I'm not comfortable with when you do it. Like Evie wanted me to quit hitting her butt. And so I think her butt is just so cute. I just like slap it all the time. And she's just like, I want you to stop, And I was like, okay, all right, I'll stop. But anyways, think about that for yourselves, unless you have it already. Like, what is your ultimate goal as you raise these kiddos into who they're meant to become, It's a hard question, I think.
I was gonna say like one word would be teach for me, but I like, okay, what am I teaching? You know, so I like what you said, like confidence and communicating really. And yeah, having respectful boundaries. Those are all good things to teach.
And I think that all comes to modeling because kids learn more from our modeling than our mandating.
Absolutely.
So,
Yes. Yep.
all right. We'll just keep up in the chat. If anything comes up, I'll post actually, if you just want to go to the Facebook page, you can read the very long story that I wrote about that. But all right, ladies, thank you
Still
for,
the spreadsheet thing. I haven't been on there forever.
sorry, what?
Do you still prefer it on the spreadsheet? I haven't been on there forever. Like anything,
Whatever.
like to give you some heads up, probably is why that's.
Oh, that would be great, but you gotta let me know because if I don't know, yeah, let me know that you put something on there and I'll totally check it out.
You're not using it regularly either. I didn't know. I'm like, I should ask.
No, I
Okay.
looked it up today to find the link
Okay.
to jump on here. So, but
Yeah.
if we want to start using it, we can, or if just kind of communicating in the group is best, that's fine too.
Okay.
My
I'll
job
try
is I don't want to layer any more things on you because
Right.
y'all are busy enough.
I quite like it in this chat. It's all in one place. Although
Yeah.
it is a long string. I don't know.
It's
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. If you have any ideas for anything to be better, let me know. I'm all ears. I really
Oh,
like
a quick question though. Those things that you did, the placemats on Canva, I can't save them as PDF to print.
don't know how to do it either. Okay. All right. That's on my task list for next week to figure out how to get those to be able to be printable because I think they're going to be great.
Oh, that really excited me for Sebi.
Okay.
He'll love that.
Awesome.
And we can maybe take the plastic tablecloth off our dining room table.
There we go. Do you plan on laminating it?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Kristen, did you see it too?
I did. I haven't printed it. We've talked about the 5 things and yeah, Mallory's into that with lunches and stuff. So it's
Okay.
been fun.
Well done.
Yeah.
I want to print that one as well, and I can't print it. So, but it's me also trying on my phone. So it's probably something I should try on my computer.
Okay. Well, keep bugging me about it if you don't see updates, okay?
Okay.
I need to be bugged about things. All right.
A larger thing. Is it sized or can I just screenshot it and print it or no?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure out who to ask to help figure it out. I don't know how to get it to Office Max or whoever and the sizing thing.
Okay. I'll ask.
Maybe I'll go there and ask also. I don't know. Don't know. But it'll happen. Okay. Enjoy
Okay.
your families. Thanks for being here and
Bye.
we'll talk later.
Thank you.
Bye.